This is Bare Bones with Jessy and B.
I'm Jessy.
And I'm B. And we have a very special announcement for this episode.
This is our elopement-sode.
Because we eloped. We got married.
Show 'em the ring. Mine hasn't got here yet. It's fine.
Yeah, so we did it on 2/22/2024. That was a very intentional day that we chose. A portal with all of those twos, I feel like was really powerful.
Totally powerful. Yeah. So, we kind of want to go through the timelines of things and, where we came from to quantum shifts and getting back into this idea of oh, actually, I think I want to be married. Actually, I know I want to be married to you.
Right.
So.
Right. And I think that talking about these different aspects of how we got here can really be beneficial to people that might be on similar tracks. Because I know I've heard about people, being in these different scenarios, I feel like before I was. So now that we've had some wisdom, I feel like it's important to put it out there and share.
You gotta share it.
So let's start with the timelines of everything. So I'll speak from my perspective. When I met you initially, when we started to date, I was a few months out of a separation with my previous partner who I was married to.
Right.
And I felt some societal pressure maybe, and maybe some of my own fear of other people judging me because I thought, oh, maybe I'm dating too quickly.
Sure.
Maybe this is too fast to go into this. And especially, I think after, the first couple dates, we both realized this is serious than just a casual dating experience. So also I had these questions. Is it okay for me to be in a serious committed relationship after, it seems like just getting out of, a long-term marriage? Lots of questions and judgments of my own, and then perceived others' judgments swirling around for me.
Sure. I went through something, quite similar. I was separated. I was married previously years ago, but I was married for almost 4 years. And while I was separated, started to date again pretty quickly. And I felt I totally got judgment from other people. And then I had judgment that I had put on myself, whoa, am I moving too fast? Does this look weird that I have kind of moved on into something else? But I was so checked out of that marriage, at the time. It was a really volatile time of my life. It was very challenging and abusive and toxic. And I just feel we put too much pressure on ourselves, especially with timelines. I don't feel like the time really matters. I feel like when you've met your match, time isn't even real anyway. So
good point. Good point. And it's just making me think and feel, you really go where your heart is, and you go where the love is. And if I wasn't open to you at this time, then I would totally be blocking so many blessings just because of this arbitrary construct of, oh, I have to wait 1 full year. I have to be single 1 full year.
Yeah.
I don't know where that comes from. I feel like I've heard that before somewhere.
I feel like it's just part of I don't know, this movement, I don't know. Maybe it's a women's empowerment thing, be single, live your best life, single life, whatever. But it's no, I'm just going to do what I want.
Right. If I really felt I wanted to do that and I wanted to be single and just be empowered in that way, I definitely would have followed that. It's not as though I felt pressured to be in a relationship. That's actually the exact opposite of what I was looking for. Like, I felt like I was going to be in that single empowerment era. And no, actually, I found my match. I found someone that I wanted to commit myself to devote myself to. And also, I am able to honor my own freedom of being just a free individual. And that is something that I have never experienced within a romantic relationship in my entire life. Every time I was in a committed relationship, and I've been a serial monogamist, shout out to serial monogamists out there. I always felt sort of bound and like I wasn't able to be my true self. I was not living in full freedom. So I'm really getting both things in this. And I didn't realize I could do that.
I feel the same. I mean, you know, like I wasn't necessarily looking for anything serious when we first met. I thought I was just going to kind of be, you know, I don't know. I didn't know really what to expect. And then very quickly it turned into, okay, this is serious. Like this is getting serious very quickly. And then we had so many shifts happen. You know, I was in a place where I was like, I will never get married again.
Same.
I was like, I will not put myself through that. I was so like jaded and kind of traumatized. From my experience in the past.
Yeah, and from your divorce, right?
Yeah, the divorce was like a monstrosity. It was so depleting, so emotionally just draining in every sense of the word. So
right. So let's talk about like the quantum leap, the quantum shift that we both experienced in terms of that. Because we both came from like, okay, maybe casually dating to then, okay, this is more serious. Let's be committed. And oh my gosh, wait a minute. Like, this is really serious.
Like, I want to like, when we had, I mean, we felt so, okay, let's just talk a little bit about that night. So we went to this kava bar that's like local to us in Tampa. And, you know, we had our little kava drinks. I don't even know what I got. I think I had an iced coffee because I don't really, kava's not really my jam.
Or kratom.
I had kratom or something.
And I was sipping on my kava.
Yeah. And we were just sitting there. I don't know. I think it really started with, we just have this like immense trust in each other. I don't even know what's really sparked the conversation exactly, but I remember we brought it up and I was just like, I told you, I felt like I was so vulnerable. I was like, I feel like I never wanted to get married again, but I see myself marrying you. Like I would have married you right then. And then we felt so weird. Like our bodies felt so, I can't even describe how we felt after that. I just remember driving you home and you like went for a walk or something. I don't know, but
we both went
for a walk. We went for a walk.
We had so many nerves and so many just strange sensations happening in the body.
I was having visions.
Yeah, we were both having visions. I feel like we were getting like a lot of downloads and unlocks, and we opened up this portal and it was a lot to handle.
It was, I don't even know how I drove home because I felt so weird. I remember like laying in bed and just being like, what just actually happened?
No, it felt like our whole universe had like shifted.
It felt like I was in a different reality.
Because completely. I believe that we opened up a totally new reality because we verbalized all of that. Like I was feeling as though I wanted to marry you and commit to you in that way. And once we were able to actually discuss that with words and it wasn't just, okay, like kind of keeping it in my heart, it made it so much more real.
It did. And I remember like saying, I felt like I came out of my body when I said that. Watching myself say that. And I was like, wait, what? Like but I meant it, obviously.
Yeah. You're making me tear up. That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we both didn't see ourselves getting married ever again.
No.
And I think that that's really easy to say when you have been so hurt and wounded and you've had bad experiences with marriage and in committed relationships. So I think it's just so powerful that we were both able to be true to ourselves and our feelings, even though our minds were like, no, you know, this doesn't make rational sense. Like, hello, you've been hurt. You don't want this. But we really leaned into our hearts and into our bodies. Like, in every single cell of my being, it was like, this is a total and complete yes. And I actually did not feel that way with my past marriage. I got a gut feeling of, no. And I acknowledged that, but quickly moved on and listened to my mind. And my mind was like, well, yeah, this is right. This feels right. This makes sense. You've been dating for this amount of time. You might as well get married.
Right. I kind of had a very similar experience, you know, with my previous marriage. I felt it was almost one of those things. So being in the military, like a lot of people just get married to stay together.
Right.
It was like a very pressured thing, you know, and when I really sat with it and was like, do I actually want this? You know, it was always a gut feeling of like, no, you know, and I didn't listen to that and, you know, went through what I went through, but I totally learned so many valuable lessons, and you know that all happened for a reason. And your first marriage is like a pancake. It's just the test and the practice. So
right, the first pancake is always like not the greatest.
Yeah,
right? You gotta work on it a little bit.
Heard it here first.
Second is best.
Second is best. There's no third.
Right. Right. So like just I think a message for everyone that's listening and that's open is to really trust those gut feelings and really trust your inner voice. Not one that's driven by fear, but one that is soft and subtle and loving and nurturing. And, you know, you can tune into that and it's very clear. And it's typically your first sort of reaction or response, you know, that's your intuition. And looking back in retrospect, I can totally see my intuition, you know? And so after coming out of that journey of not listening to it and now being on the track of listening to it, I definitely am struggling with trusting it because I just hadn't trusted it in the past. So you have to like cultivate that relationship. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of practice. But now I'm seeing, you know, when I listen to it and when I obey it, what opportunities come from that. And it's really cool.
Right. I feel like I, you know, it was like a calibration phase. I had to like recalibrate and figure out like, because there was a time after that I was like, wow, like I made these choices. What was I doing? Like, why didn't I listen to myself? So yeah, I totally relate and understand where you're at.
So let's talk about our ceremony a little bit.
Yeah, like the reason we chose to elope, you know, we didn't really, obviously we talked about this for several months. You know, leading up to figuring out the date that felt right to us. But we didn't want really like a ceremony with people. We just wanted it to be really intimate, and we weren't going to tell anybody. We weren't even going to tell our families. We were just going to do it. And then I proposed, and we were like so just like overjoyed. We wanted to share. So we shared with our parents and our siblings. So.
And that felt really special. Everyone was super supportive. Very unlike my first marriage.
Same.
And so that just felt like, and that was another thing, you know, my mind had made up this decision like, okay, we're getting eloped and we are not going to tell anyone about this. If I would have just stayed in that box and not listened to my heart, then I would have blocked another blessing of receiving and experiencing all of this beautiful love and support from the people that really like mean the most to me.
Right.
So I'm glad that we were able to flow with that in the moment and like bend like these rules that we had created.
Yeah. I was too. Because it's really, it's really special when your family is just like so over the moon and just excited for you.
Oh, yeah. It makes your heart just melt. So that was cool. So we told, the people that were the closest to us. And then we both really don't, obviously, this is our personal preference and experience and beliefs. We don't judge anyone that differs from that, but it's really not our thing to buy into like this whole like wedding extravaganza thing.
Right.
I think that we would rather put our time, energy, money, attention into things that we're really passionate about, like traveling and our purpose and our future, family and that sort of thing. Not really this, one day, even though it's very special. I feel like people can spend so much money on this. And it just, I think for me, it would just put so much unnecessary pressure on like, oh my God, this has got to be right. And this detail and that detail. It's too overwhelming for my brain.
Yeah, stressful, man. I'd rather just take a trip somewhere.
Yeah.
I would rather take a trip somewhere or And like we plan to have like many ceremonies. So maybe maybe we've discussed maybe having more intimate things with, a few people that we're closest to witness us. But so all day of the 22nd, we made like a ceremony of the day, and we started with the officiant meeting us at this nature preserve that we both really love, and that's where I proposed to you at.
Yes.
And then he married us in the woods.
It was really quick, really short, sweet. He had such good energy. He had a really good vibe happening. Voodoo was with us. It was really cute, really sweet.
Yeah.
Quick. And then we planted a ficus tree together.
Yeah.
And that was so special because we put a source seed in it to help it, grow and communicate even more efficiently with the other trees. And then we also planted like different crystals with it just to like really ground in and anchor beautiful energy for our future and for the earth. And that was super special to me. And that was the first tree that we planted together.
Yeah. And then we said our vows to each other. We had written out vows, and I don't know how people actually like say their vows in front of like a crowd of people, because I was a mess and it was just voodoo watching it.
We were both wrecks.
We were both just sobbing. Oh, yeah.
It was so emotional. It was so sacred.
Yeah.
Wow. That was a vortex.
Yeah. So we said our vows to each other, and then we just like held each other. We just had a moment. And then what did we do?
And then we got smoothies.
Yeah, we went to
nourish our bodies.
Yeah, you went to your favorite smoothie place. And yeah. Yeah,
and then, we chilled and we regrouped and we were just really vibing with each other and what we had just done and everything that we're going to create. And then we went to the beach for something really fun.
Yeah, we went to this like, I can't remember what it's called. Mind travel, yeah, where you just get this headset. It's kind of like a silent disco. Everybody's wearing a headset and it's like hooked up to this pianist, and it was like really beautiful. So you're just listening to all of these piano pieces being orchestrated live, and yeah, we were just like watching the sunset at the beach. It was really beautiful.
It was really beautiful, and it was also kind of funny because our headsets, they were like a little staticky.
Yeah, and like I think our headsets started to die like towards the end, and we were like, let's go get Indian food.
We were so hungry, and
my feet were frozen too.
Yeah, it was really cold on the beach, and we loved like the vibe and the notes and everything, but Yeah, it just got to a certain point where the static, and then I don't know.
I was starving. I was like so looking forward to Indian food. So
it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
So we went on out of there. We went to our favorite Indian place and
we came home.
Oh my gosh, and it was so beautiful. And I love that. And I'll never forget that day. And it was so special to me.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it was like really amazing to just like have an intentional date and to make, you know, a ceremony of the day, like doing like things that we really love and enjoy to do together.
Yeah, we celebrated. We also danced on the beach.
We did dance on the beach. I feel like
that's important because dancing is always part of like a ceremony for me. So, yeah. And I feel like we're still living in a ceremony. You know, I've heard from my own teachers, it's like, you know, you perform a ritual, you perform a ceremony, but really like life is the ceremony. You know, when you go out and you take aligned action and you're in it, that is the ceremony. So I'm really taking that to heart. And wow, I'm so grateful that we're able to share with everyone.
Yeah, me too.
Like it's not a secret anymore.
We've been like so I think eager to share with people.
Yeah.
You know. I've just dropped a little hints. There will be hints on my Instagram story, but I don't know if people, you know, people are like, oh, you know, she's just saying that, but like, no, actually, you're my wife.
Yeah, you're my wife, and I love you so much.
I love you.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I think we should wrap up. You know, just follow your heart. There are no timelines. It's just your timeline. What feels right for you. Go where the love is.
Beautiful.
Do you have anything to share?
I do have something to share. Please rate and review our podcast if you feel called to. We are on Apple, YouTube, and Spotify. Give us feedback. We are so open. Reach out to us over all our social media as well. DM us, comment, whatever it is, at Barebone Lovers on Instagram. And Patreon, become a patron if you feel called. Only $5.55 per month, and you get a beautiful meditation, some affirmations, and you get access to our exclusive Patreon community.
All right.
All right. We'll talk next Thursday.
Bye, guys.